Hi guys, this is Jean Holden, producer of the show, and I just wanted to take a minute to let you know where you can find us on the internet. Please go to ThatMan on Fatman.com. There you can find out all the things you need to know about the show. You'll be able to find links to the podcast, to YouTube, to Twitter, Facebook, even Instagram and Snapchat. Thank you so much for listening, guys, and we hope you enjoy the show.
Today's show is brought to you by Death Wish Coffee. Death Wish Coffee, the strongest coffee in the world.
This is Kevin Conroy, the voice of Batman, and I want to urge you to make a generous donation to the Wayne Foundation so we can stop the sexual trafficking of children. Do it, or I'll find you.
And don't forget to check out our good friend of the show, Mark Live, over at chundertunes.com for all your podcast animation needs. ThatMan on Fatman is recorded with a Zoom H6 handy recorder. Zoom for creators.
Disclaimer. The show you're about to experience is for entertainment purposes only. The hosts use mature language and conversation just like in most of life. If you're too uptight, this might not be for you. All that said, we really do hope you enjoy the show. But if you don't enjoy it, expect a nice big shipment of my joyous Joker juice on your doorstep in the very near future. Toodles!
As the world's biggest Kevin Smith fan, I appreciate the fact that somebody finally made a podcast about that interesting motherfucker. So, yes, you absolutely did the right thing. It was smart. I appreciate it. I think you were right to do that.
Okay, what has two thumbs and is a huge fan of Kevin Smith? ThatMan!
Yes, I am that man.
What are we going to do about the pancake master?
We need a costumed vigilante is what we need. Justice can't be served unless it's being fought outside the system.
Here's what we're going to do, eh?
Oh, shit. It's that man. Who is he? He's that man. He's talking. What should we do?
Oh, there he goes by in the Thatmobile.
The what? That mobile, his car. Go get him, that man.
Well, once upon a time, a regular man read a book written by the Fat Man. Tough shit, written by old Kev Smith. Kev said go out and start a podcast, and so I did, and I had a real blast. But my obsession was driving my co-host nuts. Didn't want to bring the podcast down. Needed Porkchop Murphy to hang around. So I created a new show with one heck of a plan, and I'd call that show ThatMan on Fatman, because we're going to chat about Kevin Smith. That's right, let's talk about old Kev Smith. Hey everybody, and welcome to this episode 3-15 of ThatMan on Fatman. My name is Scott Holden. Here with me in the That Cave is co-host extraordinaire, producer extraordinaire, and everything extraordinaire, Miss Jean Holden.
Hi, guys.
I just
And
upgraded
sir.
you. Yes. Well, we're doing an interesting thing this week. We did a really great interview with, I guess, our new friends,
They were nice.
Annaleis and Neil, over there at Dark Angels and Pretty Freaks.
Mm-hmm. I like the Pretty Freaks part.
Yeah.
It's kind of cute.
Yeah. And so I like their logo, as we'll discuss.
I do, too.
And we ended up going at it for like 2 hours, over 2 hours.
I know, nonstop.
And upon reviewing it, it's really good. So why cut it? But then we always get complaints. We always get complaints like, oh, your show is too long. Or meh, 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 meh. So to appease those folks, we've come up what we believe is an awesome compromise that only Twitter can find a way to shit on. Yes. And that is, we've taken the fucking interview, we've cut it in half into 2 parts, about an hour each, And we're making 2 episodes, 2 different shows.
Oh boy, I can hear Twitter's got diarrhea.
Okay, now 2 shows, but we're dropping them Netflix style in a special mini binge. So it's a That Man on Pretty Freaks mini binge.
Yeah.
So this episode and the following episode will both drop simultaneously. We would advise that you listen to this one first and then listen to the next one. But hey, that's up to you completely.
Whatever. It's your thing.
There are 2 episodes sitting in your inbox for you to play with, however you choose.
At your leisure.
Yes. So there you go. I hope the folks out there will enjoy this special mini binge. But let's first, in keeping with tradition, let's cut over to Mr. Ben Gumry, IndieMac user, and the Smedlines.
Smedlines.
This is Ben from the blog IndieMac user with the Smedlines roundup for the 13th of June 2016. And the big news this week is that Kevin Smith has announced that on the Preston and Steve radio show that the Mallrats 2 sequel that was planned is now going to be turned into a 10-part TV series adaptation. This comes after problems with securing the rights from Universal and for funding the film, so Kevin has said that it will be easier to produce the film as a TV series. This will be shot as a TV series and then shipped around to various networks. It's also planned that the original casting will be kept as much as possible from the movie announcement, and also that they should still shoot at Exton Square Mall, which was the current planned location for the film. And there's more Smedlines in the next of this exciting 2-parter episode.
And there you have this week's Smedlines. Oh, no, not this week's Smedlines. This episode's Smedlines, because 2 shows. Yes, 2. You'll get 2 chances to hear Smedlines this week. This was the first. The next one's on the other episode that will drop today. I am mad with podcasting power. The power to binge drop. Anyway. So there you have it. We're having fun with this little concept. And since it is such an extra specially long extended episode, even when bifurcated, we are...
That sounds dirty.
Yeah, I know. What can I say?
Bifurcate?
Yeah. Would you bifurcate me? Which is cut me in half.
No.
So...
one for now and one for later.
Yeah. Yummy. Yeah, both dead.
Why you have to be so gross?
And here's another cool thing about this, and here's another reason I like this concept. We also recorded. We have a show waiting for next week for Dave Mader, and it's essentially an update on what went on up at excuse me, little burpee. Sorry, that came right up. I'm having coffee. Sorry.
At the Vashel tournament.
Yeah, with the Vashel tournament.
Yeah,
and
that's fun. That was a lot of fun talking to him.
So, doing this, we don't have to worry. That will still drop in the same timely manner, with which we said, and we're giving any of our diehard listeners the bonus at 2 fucking shows in 1 week. Ba-boom! So maybe we'll do more of these.
I bet you we'll get some requests for more.
Yes.
I would want it. I like it.
Now, we really enjoyed our time talking.
It's a lot of fun
with these guys. I feel like I feel upon listening for editing purposes, I really enjoyed listening. So I think the listeners will enjoy listening to our wacky and wild banter. This first part of the interview, the first hour or so, is a sort of get to know each other, and then Annaleis talks a lot about what's going on over there in over at the ranch. That's right, Skywalker Ranch.
Isn't that cool?
That's where she works. So.
Yeah,
and it was a cool conversation.
That's where she drives to work every day.
Yeah,
Skywalker
and she
Ranch.
has a fun laugh.
Oh my God, her laugh is
when you
adorable.
get her laughing, it really is.
It's contagious.
It's very genuine too.
It's very, very contagious.
Yeah, she's a belly laugh, as they say.
No, I'm going to ask you this question off the air.
What?
No, did she ever meet George Lucas?
I don't know. That's a good question. Why didn't we think to
What
ask
a
that when you
dummy,
figure
dumb,
that one's
dumb.
right?
The next time she comes on.
Well,
have to
she'll
ask
hear
her.
this. Maybe she'll send us the answer, or
I hope
maybe
so,
she'll
because
keep
it's
that.
so dumb. Why didn't I ever ask
Or think about this.
Because she think that's her boss, pretty much.
They said they're going to be having us on their show, so
Yeah.
at that time we can put the screws to them.
Now, is he her boss, or would
Not anymore.
not Disney's
is her boss now.
Okay.
As explained
Because so
in the interview that you're present for. Hey, wake up!
No, but I don't remember that part.
I know. There was a lot. We covered a lot of ground. It was a
Yeah.
2-hour.
I know it didn't seem that.
And there was a lot of zingers, a lot of
funny,
a lot of
Hey,
funny.
all that podcasting humor, man. You know
Oh
how
yeah,
it goes.
you were trying to you were trying to work in the blue a little bit, and
Was
it was
I?
there was some stuff that a little lot of character for you. I
What do
even
you
cut
mean?
it to save face.
I was trying too hard to use bad words.
Yeah, well, not bad words, but just to
trying to
go
be-
somewhere that really isn't you.
Oh well, I was trying
Well,
to.
everyone hears the aftermath. Don't worry,
see,
we left that in.
Yeah, I was trying to go.
I'm protecting your demure
demure
and
facade.
respectable. Yeah, right. A wildcat, folks. Wildcat. No, kidding.
Well, now I'm embarrassed now that I was acting like that inappropriately.
No, it's not inappropriate. But you just we.
Maybe
As comedians, we all cross the line every
Yeah,
now and then.
I
We
was
don't mean it.
feeling-
You
I was
go.
feeling wild and crazy.
And you went too far. And maybe it wasn't too. Probably wouldn't have been too far if I did it. But the fact that you did
Now,
it
is
was like,
everybody-
ho!
It's everybody.
It was like one of those Brian moments.
Was it that one? The one that I'm thinking of?
Probably. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not going to be there
I
anymore.
thought that was so funny.
Well, it is, but no one. Everyone was quite. Everyone.
Oh,
we didn't groan, so it was a total.
It was a sarcastic.
It was a. I mean, it was what she said was not to the same caliber or whatever. But if anyone's seen Family Guy, there was like one of the Star Wars ones where Brian hey, I think Lando's the only black guy in the universe, and Brian goes, "Let's hope, right?" And everybody goes, "Oh!" You know,
Yeah,
it's like,
like
what the
that's
fuck?
right.
What
That's
happened?
It was kind of like that.
Yeah, it
but
was
not
one of those
really.
moments like, whoa, just to be
But-
shocking, really?
But my tone was very funny. Like it was a sarcastic tone, you could tell.
All right. Well, you know what?
Oh, you guys!
The
you're so
universe.
serious.
Don't bang on the table.
Ooh, sorry.
We have shock mounts, but only they only go so far.
Oh, you guys! Whole table.
Yeah, I know.
explodes.
That's been one of those things that
I'm
we've already
sorry.
been kind of doing.
I'm sorry.
I'm trying to figure out ways to build shock. I know. I see. That's what I was just kind of showing.
Oh my god! And that did it to mine. You hit
Well,
it in mine.
We might need a new cable in there.
Yeah. We're having way too much fun. You can tell.
Yeah.
The
Well,
table's,
yeah.
like, vibrating.
We're kind of in the new studio, if you will, the new room space.
It's actually nice. I don't.
It
Feel
is. I do like this.
I don't feel as like cramped.
Verklempt?
I feel more like I can spread out.
Yes. Well, that's the idea. So, and the truth
More
is,
spacious.
we outgrew the other room for equipment and gear.
Yeah,
and
and now our
this is going to be much. When we have
we
people
can
come
relax.
in, they can just come in, plop down in front of a mic.
And
We can
to tell you
roll.
the truth, that room,
Got the coffee service over there.
that room is more
Better.
relaxing.
Yeah.
room.
Yeah.
It has a relaxing, comfy feeling.
Yes, it really does. I agree.
Yeah.
So all's good.
All is well with us.
And so.
And how are you guys?
Yes. Well, I think it's a good time that we can cut over to the first part. This is part A. So, folks, let's hope that you spun this episode up in numerical order when you're listening to this part
Or
first.
alphabetical
But
order.
you know what?
Because A.
You
is
can
alphabetical.
actually listen to both parts and still be just as informed and feel just as good. If you've listened them out of order, it might be kind of cool later down the road. Who knows? It's a mini binge, folks. Mini binge, Gary. Yes, a mini binge. That's right. A new special thing that I've created.
A mini binge.
This thing that I've created is a mini binge.
It's still a binge.
It is mine.
And
It's
how
a
long-
twofer binge.
How long is
Because
a mini
people
binge?
just love to fucking binge anyway. So this fits two needs. One, it silences the complainers of the episodes being too long.
Oh, shut up.
Two, it still gives the whole it gets the interview out in toto and on the same day.
And you know what I will say to those people?
And it keeps our commitments to young Super Dave Mater to
Yes.
get the show out.
And
in a
all of
timely
those
fashion.
people out there that think that it's too long, it would be a shame that you would only listen to one, because the second one is
even more awesome.
Better than the first one.
Yes, it is. It's more off the hook because then
Yeah,
we
it's
have
really
an
fun.
hour of warming up and silliness.
So now we know each
Then
other.
we're in rare form.
So now we know each other. Just imagine what could happen now.
Yes. Yes.
So, just saying.
Polyamory.
Just
That's
saying.
right.
Just
Not saying, just saying. All right, and without any further ado, here comes Dark Angels and Pretty Freaks, Annaleis and Neil. Here they come.
And now, here's our guest.
Now we are rolling. Okay. Hello, sir. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Hey, are we coming through okay? Do you need us to change anything on our end?
I only hear one of you so far.
I know.
No, I just haven't talked to him.
Yeah, she is.
Nor
I
has
was
Gene.
waiting for you guys to figure it out.
No, it kind of says something.
Yeah, so you're there. Okay.
Kind of.
Yeah, you guys sound good.
Yeah, you
All
do.
right, good. We want to apologize real quick. Of course, the dogs were totally asleep until we came into the little office to sit down and podcast. So,
Oh, God, yes.
Oh, that's all right.
apologize in advance. You may hear jingle, jingle, jingle in the background.
Oh, well, we were interviewing Scott Schiaffo, and midway through, I mean, I know I hear the cat totally
my
coughing up a
God.
hairball.
The cat totally puked. Like
I don't know if the
during-
audience will make out what it is, but there's like
Ew.
noises
And
in the
It
background.
was disgusting. And then I'm like jumping up, and I like flew across the room, like trying to like catch it before it landed. And
Yeah, a nice splash.
Oh man!
Actually, she's trying to get a mic down for it.
That's
Quick, run this mic down over there. It's like a
Give me
tap
the
dance
camera,
mic.
Put the mic down. Yeah.
So we have on the show the folks from Dark Angels and Pretty Freaks.
Hi, I'm Annaleis.
Hi, I'm Neil C. We're a weekly podcast that just pretty much discusses our life, and we are very excited and a little nervous to be on.
Oh, don't be
Oh,
nervous
don't be
at all.
nervous.
And that's why we like your show, because you're just a couple who talks about
Yeah.
your life. Although, I mean, we're sort of the same way. It's just we've managed to incorporate our biggest, like,
Well,
hero
yeah.
and,
Yeah.
into it. So
Yeah, it's kind of fun because we were talking about the podcast when we first heard of your podcast. I thought immediately that you guys were actually, and this is way back when. I thought you guys were somehow affiliated with Kevin Smith from the beginning, like you were a buddy and decided to do it. So when I started listening, I'm like, oh, this is awesome, and it is very much like the two of you and everything you guys are doing. Between the documentary and the podcast and your everyday lives and everything, it's really cool because it is very similar. But it's neat how you guys surround yourself around like, well, we have this one sun, if you will, that we orbit around.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean,
He's
that's
kind of
what
a
it's
smaller
become.
son than he used to be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sometimes it feels smaller. Sometimes
No,
I
his,
feel like I'm
it's like
overtalking
physically smaller because
everybody.
he's gotten
yes,
smaller.
very good point.
Yeah.
I'm going to boost you guys up and lower me down a little because I think I'm getting carried away.
Yeah, you're kind of loud.
But I always hear. I don't hear myself. I'm like a little kid.
Yeah, but it's still loud.
I know.
That happens over here.
Is this better, Gene? How's this?
I can't hear you. That's perfect.
This is her dream show. Just me barely in the show at all.
Echo, echo.
It's funny how that's
echo.
changed over time.
Echo, echo.
Sorry,
you-
I didn't understand the question. I had.
You triggered the echo.
I did?
Yeah, you didn't hear it.
Yeah, but what did I say?
It didn't understand your question. You said echo.
Oh, I said echo, echo, echo. I did.
Yeah, because it's using the echo trigger name.
We have
That's
like an
funny.
Echo from Amazon. It's like a
But it's the dot. It's the Amazon.
Yeah.
It's the Echo Dot.
And when you
Nice.
say it, like you can ask her questions, but she didn't understand what I said.
Yes, it's
That's awesome.
It's replacing our Echo, I guess the regular Echo,
Yeah.
because this one has a 3mm in,
Oh, right.
so you can go right and like so. Echo, who was in the film Clerks?
Clerks.s cast members are Kevin Smith, Jason Mewes, Jim Brewer, Jeff Anderson, Brian O'Halloran.
I wish you could see the looks on our faces because we're both like,
Marilyn Gigliotti.
I don't hear anything.
Lisa
What's going on?
Spoonhauer,
Oh, you can't hear
Jimmy
that?
Smith,
No,
Grace
no.
Smith,
Oh
and
wow!
Scott
So we don't have
Schiaffo.
that loop back to you. That's what that's telling me.
Oh, okay. Yeah, 'cause
Okay.
we're both looking at each other like,
I'm like, nothing's happening.
Ah, okay.
We're laughing.
Hey, you just identified a sound issue. I didn't realize I'm
Thank
not
you.
looping it back.
that's awesome. That was great. And we're both like super excited, like, oh. And then I think we both got that look of like, oh, Echo's broken.
Oh,
Yeah.
damn.
You're not going to hear any of our sound
laugh.
effects. Actually, you know what? The fact that you
tenth
can't hear the
time.
sound effects is fine because you know what? You're not feeding back. Nothing else has
Right.
gone
Right,
bad.
yeah, you
so
sound really good.
I
actually.
can safely say, fuck Echo.
Yes, but we all know who's in Clerks.
Yes.
All of our favorite people are in that movie.
I'm wondering, can you hear this though? Let me see.
No, I heard you punch the button. That was it.
Yeah. Okay. So.
Oh, you can
Yeah. So
hear
it's not.
that?
It's the loop back. I'm gonna have to fix that. We just actually remodeled our that cave, as we call it. We're moving into a bigger room, so we're still having issues.
Yeah. Well, for us, that's. It seems like every time we have a guest on or we try something different, all of a sudden I'm like, I thought I knew what the hell I was doing. I mean, I've played music for a long time. Now I'm like, I don't know. I need another chord. I think I need another chord.
And then we moved into the bigger room, and it was weird, and so we moved back to the smaller room.
Yeah, we're like, this is just weird.
I had a career in technology, 10 years, at least, easy. I think it was 12 when I do the math. And it never fails. When Bob Hawke is here, you would think I don't know how to change a cable.
Oh my
Isn't
God.
it funny how that works out?
Totally, man.
Yeah.
And like I said, there'll be a fuck up in the chain because I'll have redone something not too long before. So I'm like, so I'm troubleshooting while he's there. I look like a big fucking idiot.
Right, and that's when he holds up the end of a plug, and he's like, you didn't plug it in, right?
Yeah,
You're
exactly.
Like, you gotta be kidding me.
Pretty much.
You gotta
It's
be kidding me.
I know this shit. I know I do.
Right, you tried to over-explain yourself. Then
Yeah,
you're like,
yeah.
well, no. What happened was,
You're toast. So to Bob
he's
Hawke,
still-
I'm no technical genius.
Yeah. See, but you are. I mean, you're pretty savvy though.
I
But
know.
for some reason, when he was here, it was like you look like the biggest
it was
idiot.
And it's really a bad confluence of circumstances. And he just happens
And
to
he
be the
still
guest
like-
on the next day.
and
you
he
know?
still likes us.
Yeah, he still likes us.
Just thinks we're
probably
idiots.
in spite of.
He probably feels bad for us.
Wonderful man. We just spent.
But eating
we were just
lunch-
with him yesterday.
yeah.
That's why probably why we're talking. About.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I want to hear more about these guys.
Yes, exactly.
Hear about
So,
us.
in what way were you drawn to the podcast format to release your inner selves?
Well, this is where it's going to tie into your show nicely. So I started listening to podcasts about. Let's see, we've been doing this for two years now. Just about 6 months before we started podcasting, I had never really heard of podcasting, or I didn't totally pick it up if I did. And I was listening to NPR, and it was This American Life, and they're like, you can always download our podcast. And I'm like, what the frick are these?
What's a podcast?
What's he talking about now? And I remember thinking like, on my iPhone forever, there's been this little podcast thing. And this might come as a shock to you, but I actually said this to myself. What is a podcast?
Yeah, of course.
Like,
we all did at one point.
Yeah. So that's when I opened the app for the first time, and
wait, hang on. Admittedly, stupid sounding name at first. I mean, really. I mean, this sounds kind of like, what is it? It sounds like some sort of weird bubble thing. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, to be totally honest, when I first saw it on the phone way back when, I think I thought it was like a game. I'm like, it came preloaded on my iPhone, whatever.
Yeah. And it's funny because iPods barely exist anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go.
Yeah. So I opened it up and so I thought just from hearing that This American Life had a podcast or was a podcast, I was totally confused. I figured it was all big name and radio station and people with like professional shows. It was just another way to get a big time show, right? Howard Stern, Bubba the Love Sponge, This American Life, whatever's on NPR, those things. I didn't think there was any independent or small podcast. So when I opened the app, obviously it has like the what's hot or what's influential, all this, and it had like, stuff you missed in history class and all the different NPR things and Snap Judgment. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I started listening to that. And one day I was just searching on like I think it's like the top 100, and I saw that Kevin Smith had a podcast. Now at this point, I'm a person who I'm terrible with like knowing who directs what movie and who wrote what book. It's like, I watched Clerks, Mallrats, and Dogma. I didn't know it was the same director. I just watched the movies and liked them, and I'm like, well, cool. And then later, it was like, that's Kevin Smith, and I'm like, oh. And
now, did you ever read any comic books as a lad?
As a young kid, I read a couple, but not really. I didn't really get into comic books until Annaleis and I met, which was much later.
Didn't understand of like the concept of a universe or a world, or
correct, exactly.
That they were all playing in the same pool.
Exactly.
And that even these characters are the same.
No, the only way I could tie it to get to that was I was big into music, and I was big into like, I want to say glam and heavy metal. So I was like big Motley Crue, Rat. And when those guys, since they all came up together, they were like in each other's videos and would play on each other's albums. So that's like the only thing I had to like a universe where it's like there's crossovers and there's this and that. But I never, I was a big Batman
I'm sorry.
fan.
I hate to interject, and I hate this because my wife is fucking...
I'm sorry.
She is showing me a picture of like the fattest fucking dude I have ever seen in my life. which is me.
I found
dressed as Lebowski from like I don't even know when. No, not even 2005 or some shit.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I'm a fat fuck.
Oh my God, all I was
she's
doing was laughing. I'm so sorry.
She's laughing and holding it up and teasing. I said, the way to expose this harassment is to tell the guests.
That's right.
I know.
She's just messing with you.
And I'm also exposing that I'm being totally rude to our guests.
Yeah, no,
I apologize.
I can't wait for the pictures that are going to come next.
Oh my God.
Well, apparently she's pulled up some new crop of pictures from somewhere. That's why.
No, where did it come? I don't even know where it came from.
Yeah, exactly. I know.
It's pretty funny though. It's like appeared.
I'm a fat dude, that's for sure.
No, it's not the fat.
Those will be on Instagram later, so don't worry.
No, it's not even.
Have no fear.
It's not even that you were fat. I mean, you were bigger than you are now.
Yeah.
But you have a wig, a blonde wig.
Yes.
And you're looking very
sexy.
Yeah. That was the word.
Not wearing any makeup or
That's
anything.
the word I was thinking of. Sexy. Yeah.
Yes.
That's why she was showing it to you. She's like, "Could you do this again?"
When I was weighing in at about 230.
Yeah.
Two.
No, it was the Caesar. It was the Caesar pick where I was like 250.
Oh wow!
Yeah, definitely 250 there.
Yeah, too big for a toga.
Too big for a toga.
Believe it or not, I look like a fucking dirigible floating under a toga or something. Thank you.
That's.
Oh wait, hang on, wait.
What?
There, you can't hear it, but that was a rim shot.
Oh, nice.
Aren't you supposed to do that when they say something funny?
Wow. We haven't given them that chance yet. All right.
Yeah, I was going to say, they're not that funny.
It's going to be a long fucking show.
Wait, they haven't said anything at all.
And just as an FYI, this will drop next week. So.
Okay.
Oh, very cool.
Okay, so I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
No.
Please.
I'm sorry. I'm not sorry that I was
Continue.
laughing. I'm excited because Scott brought it to your attention.
Yes,
and I was
exactly.
Very embarrassed.
That's what you do.
It may be tough to believe, but we sometimes meander on our show, and it might be sometimes hard to keep us corralled. So,
and as Walter would say,
yeah, don't look to us for help.
Yeah.
And as Walter would say, sunlight is the best disinfectant.
It is. It really is, though.
Yes.
I think Walter's right.
Yes, please continue in your stories while I play sound effects in the background.
Yes.
Sure, I am going to totally sidetrack for a second. They just came out with that thing with the best way if you need to sanitize drinking water is to put it in a plastic bottle and leave it in the sun for 6 hours.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they say that's the ultimate filtration system right now. Yeah, they said it's the one good thing about plastic bottles because there's so many of them that you can use. So if you're ever stuck out there and need some drinking water, you can get some nasty water and just put it in a plastic bottle, leave it out in the sun.
Yeah, but isn't it bad because the
anyway,
condensation?
Yeah, but wait, can I say something to that though?
Yeah.
Can I say something to that comment though?
No, you cannot.
Isn't it bad though won't the plastic melt?
Well, the plastic won't melt, but if it's not a PBA free
that's what I was
bottle,
worried
you will.
about.
But that is going to be less harmful to you in the short run.
What exactly does the Policemen's Benevolence Association have to do with any of this?
Right?
They help you get the water?
Yeah, right?
I don't know.
Yeah.
They supply the bottle? I don't know.
They weren't anywhere in Flint anywhere, were they?
No. No.
God,
You know what's
poor
scary?
people.
Like, we can joke, but that fucking still ain't fixed.
It's not.
Oh, no.
It's not fixed.
What's weird is after that, all the Native American tribes that, with their land are like, oh, we haven't had clean water in 40 or 50 years. What are you guys talking about?
Yeah, that's right. Oh, yeah.
That's so disgraceful.
Oh,
Right.
so
It was a joke.
Oh my
As
God!
It was a joke.
Wow!
It was a joke.
See what I was saying before? Notice how? Look at her now. She's on.
No, but it was a joke. It's a joke. It's
Wow.
almost making fun.
That
of,
is not. Wait, hang on,
but
hang
listen,
on.
Make
Oh yeah, there's the rim shot.
making
We
fun.
even got to give you a.
Now,
Go get him, that man.
Oh yeah, there's
Now
a go get him
listen.
that man. So
Now
just
listen.
keeping you in there.
So he's got to tell you every.
Actually, though, what we should be playing is this.
This is terrible. This is one of the worst catastrophes in the world for the humanity and all the
I can almost hear it.
Yeah, I can almost hear that.
I'm putting
See,
the
now-
headphones over the mic for you guys.
Oh, okay. All right.
You know, I don't know what's more pathetic, that he did that or that he has to tell you what sound effects he's using.
Well, I'm keeping them updated.
So then when people hear it, they're going to hear the sound effect.
It's like,
and he's gonna hear
yeah, it's not like he took the effort to actually fix the issue.
He's just telling the guests what we're using. No, but
That's almost more entertaining if you could just
it really
describe to
is.
us what's happening.
I know. I was going to say that's
Well.
the love that we have for your show because it's so similar to ours. It's like, why, we're not going to fix this. We're going to do this, and you'll get over it. It'll be fine.
What are you guys wearing?
You're fine. Don't worry about it.
What are you guys wearing?
I don't think
Gene, what are you wearing?
jeans and socks.
So who did your logo? Because I love it.
Yeah, I do too.
Whoever does it has great graphic design instincts.
That's actually really funny because I came up with the initial idea and sketched something out. And then my sister-in-law, who is a professional graphic designer, in fact, I sent it to her and asked for her assistance, and she cleaned it up and sent it back. And then I sent it back, and then she sent it back. And then this is our final product. So it was she did all the hard labor, obviously, but I did do like this mock-up of like in my chicken scratch.
Yeah,
like what
it's
I wanted.
Annaleis's design,
yeah.
but then with the professional.
I got you. Hey,
Right.
believe me,
So
you have no
it
idea
was-
how many graphic artists I've hired.
Yeah.
It's a super girl power moment where me and my sister-in-law came up with this, and here it is. And then she gave us different colors, and Neil's favorite color is purple. So we just came up with this whole theme.
And pink.
Yeah.
Right. And originally, actually,
too.
what looks like the heart,
Nice.
looks like hair, which is hilarious because we're both very into our hair.
Right.
But it was
Me
supposed to
too.
be feathers. And then and my sister-in-law, who's brilliant, was like, yeah, I saw your feathers and raised you hair.
Yeah.
And I was like, perfect. That's perfect. There you
Yeah,
go.
it definitely has.
really,
you
really
could tell that a graphic artist has worked on it. I mean,
Yeah.
you could I mean, just simply, you could see the unification of design between the pretty and the angels, have the same font. There's a lot going on there, and it's very cool. And it also reminds me somewhat of Keith and the Girl too.
It does.
It's got that same sort of feeling.
Yeah.
Well, it just shows that you care about it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
it does.
That you gave a shit.
It does.
It was
really
it's funny because when we started, neither of us had again no clue about the indie podcast movement, and we started. I guess I should go back. So anyway, it started listening to
Yes,
Kevin
please.
Smith.
I'm sorry.
No. It's kind of I
Rewind,
totally
rewind.
forgot about that. Now I'm like, So started listening to Kevin Smith and just absolutely fell in love with him and the podcast, and then listened to all the podcasts he
Which
was on.
one?
And he kept.
Which one first?
What
was your
first one I
gateway
saw was
drug?
SModcast. That was the first one I heard.
That
Was
was mine.
SModcast. So
That
I
was-
just listened to that.
My gateway as well.
Okay, and then he was talking
The
like
first one's free.
on SModcast, he would reference the other ones like Ralph Garman, or he would say I had on that man on Batman, so and so, and I'm like, oh well, I'm a Batman fan. I'm going to listen to that. And since Annaleis and I had been together now for a while, I learned about the comics and the timelines and the universes. So I was starting to read comic books. And I got really into it, and since Annaleis owned a comic book, you worked in a comic book shop.
I worked in a comic book store.
And worked for Oni Press. She knew so much. I mean, more than I, but more than most people because she had the inside track and knew these people or had met.
You worked
met
for
these
Oni? I didn't realize that.
Woohoo.
Yeah, good for you. That's cool.
So, with that, I listen to more. And Kevin Smith says all the time. Anybody can do this. And I'm like, yeah, anybody with a bunch of money in a recording studio, yet rich jackass. And so I started doing a little research. At the same time, I was getting out of playing music in a band, but I wanted some creative outlet. And so I approached Annaleis and I'm like, hey, this whole podcast thing, what if we just sit down and record a conversation of us for like our family? So when we're long gone, or we can have our families on. And then like my sister, when she has kids, we don't have kids. So when my sister, when her kids grow up, they can hear like grandma and grandpa and hear us when we were younger.
That's a great reason. That's a great reason.
And so that's how it
really
started.
is.
And we thought, I was thinking, well, maybe a couple people, I knew I'd put it up as a podcast, did all the research on all the different people who host podcasts. And I thought, maybe a couple people would find it and think it's kind of funny just to listen to a couple of jackasses talk all week. But we knew we didn't want to do. Yeah. We knew we didn't want to do like a review thing, like a weekly, because,
like a wrap up thing, like a weekly.
Yeah. We just wanted to yak and then thought it would be hilarious, So that's how it started. So my whole background.
That's the best, by the way, because it's the most innocent, and there's no agenda, and there's nobody to please, and you don't have.
So my whole background came from music and being in bands. So I approached it like that. So
of course.
The name, I'm like, it really doesn't have to do anything with anything. I want it to do with something.
He approaches a podcast like a band. He's like, so we need a cool name.
Yeah,
like,
I said I want it to be something. I want it to be about us and what that's about. And I'm like, and then I want a fun logo because I want it, to be something I would like.
Obviously.
What's hilarious is I'm like, I want it to be something I would actually get a tattoo of. And if we could do that, that would be cool.
So my first show was based on the fact that I had this artwork from this band that fizzled. You know what I mean?
Oh, right.
Bone Crushing Juggernaut.
what
Great
you just
name.
said is the same thing as Scott.
Great fucking, and I had this, I was living in Virginia at the time, and I knew this guy named Clarence, and I can't remember his last name right now, but Harrison.
Nice.
And he's
It's in there.
Yeah. He's actually, he has done art for a lot of D20 books.
He did a really good job, too.
So I asked him, I had this concept, what would your Bone Crushing Juggernaut be to you? And he came back with this one, and he knew that he was going to make it black and white because rock musicians are cheap and they want to make black or white T-shirts.
Right.
So if you ever see the Bone Crushing Juggernaut logo, which is just this big sort of steampunk machine thing, he did it.
Yeah,
and
Clarence.
I was like, well, I got my name from a show.
Yeah.
There we go.
Nice.
So I can identify. And I quickly also saw, wow, podcast is a band.
Yeah.
Market it the same way.
Yeah.
You don't have to actually go on those pesky gigs.
Right. I don't have to print up flyers and staple them to telephone poles, which is nice.
And you don't have to go looking for gigs. You have a gig every week or however often. And it's a wonderful thing. I totally agree. And now I will shut up because Gene is telling me to shut up.
Oh, see?
The Bone Crushing Juggernaut logo is awesome.
Thank you. It was,
he did a really good job.
Clarence Harrison, although technically, legally, it's mine.
Right.
Right.
But I always give him credit because
he's
a cool guy.
Yeah, he is.
Right, exactly. So again, my sister-in-law's name is Michelle. Thanks, Michelle.
Yeah.
I feel like I had to throw that in there.
So that's how it started. And then we actually found the indie. I guess I don't know if that's the right word to use, and I apologize if it's not.
Who knows?
But the indie podcast scene after we actually started podcasting. I started doing searches on the podcast for because I'm like, I'm into video games, so video game podcasts, and so these came up, and I'm like, awesome. And then I listened to them, and I'm like, I think this is a couple of 16-year-old kids in a basement.
Like, pretty much.
What is going on?
And what about the guys doing the world of the Flash of Two Worlds podcast?
Right.
I'm pretty sure they're two guys in the basement, but we're gonna have them on in a couple weeks.
That's awesome.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So then I started doing a little more, and then I had a Twitter account that I made way back when, just when Twitter started. So I went back on that and I started searching podcasts and found a group of people, and we were like, oh my God, that's so cool. There's like 6 other people doing this. That's awesome. And then all of a sudden we found out we should have said 6 million.
Yeah. It's funny too, because when I got, I was totally inspired by Kevin because I was depressed.
Mm-hmm.
And fortunately we had moved back home. I mean, this is part of the reason I was depressed, because laid off and I couldn't get arrested for a couple of years. So therefore we had to, give up our home down in Virginia and come back home to Jersey. But little did I know what an advantage that would be, because when I wanted to podcast, I could turn to a friend of mine for 25 years, who didn't really get it, but understood that I was in a place where he could, at least help me by being on.
Right.
I think he's brilliant, though.
Yeah.
He was the show. So
Yeah.
That did it all for me. I mean, that got me out of that depression, and I was so I think probably had another point, but as podcasting goes,
right. Well, I mean, it's that's the really cool thing about the medium is that one of the best things that have happened, I think that we both, I think Annaleis will agree with me, is that it opens you up, and you if you have a schedule, like if you want to do it once every 2 weeks or once a week, you kind of look forward to it and you plan on it, especially if it's with a friend or a loved one or or just someone you like talking to. But as people find it, and as you meet, quote unquote, meet new people, like whether it's through Twitter or the podcast because of Twitter or vice versa, I guess I should have said, it kind of I can see where it totally brings you out of within yourself. I mean, you are opening yourself up no matter what you're talking about. You could be a podcast that just wants to totally neg vibe somebody's trip all day long and be like, yeah, I hate you and I hate that. Yeah. But somebody out there.
But imagine how many listeners you're going to get on that neg vibe trip.
Yeah. So, it's, I mean, I think that's one of the coolest things is that it opens up this world of almost like this true humanity where you get to meet people of different walks of life and different ethnicities and different social eco structure and class and where people are like, oh my God, I thought that thing you talked about was freaking hilarious. And probably maybe if you guys met on the street or in a bar in a coffee shop, maybe wouldn't have talked. But because of this thing, because we kind of take it's got a little anonymity to it, but at the same time, you're being very open. So it's like I think it's great. Last night we went to a baseball game with a couple that we met through. They listen to he listens to our podcast, and
she doesn't listen.
Yeah, she doesn't listen.
She just told us, she's like, yeah,
of course not. I don't even know what the fuck he's talking about.
Right. He had heard, through in the podcast that I had worked as a groundskeeper and worked on, for the San Francisco Giants, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, oh, we have season tickets to the Sacramento River Cats, if you guys ever want to come up for a game. So it was a year in the making. And then finally we're like, let's do it. So here we went to hang out with people that we've only met through Twitter, and they listen or he listens to podcasts, and it was a great time. And we don't know they seem very nice. I think we came across as nice. Maybe we would have talked if we
did you swing.
I think we did. I'm not sure. I think that headlock I put Tiffany in probably didn't go over well.
Yeah. I don't know if we were
don't be fooled by that. Tiffany could take you down.
She could.
I'm just laughing because I don't know if we were really nice, but I think we came across as nice.
Oh no, we're definitely not nice.
Our persona is intact.
That's the great thing about podcasting too. This is who we want to be, not who we actually are.
And I noticed that you guys sort of have an oral love affair with another show. That it's a couple as well.
Couple things.
Yeah.
Well, that's Annaleis.
When you say that, it's like
I'm just jealous. Annaleis is in love with them. I'm the jealous.
What are you jealous of?
Jealous, bitter one, because they're freaking awesome.
Yeah, but so are you.
You had to hear the show when they were together because Annaleis just was like.
Did I hear that one?
I think you did. Yes, you did.
Were you guys out somewhere? Were they at like a
no? But it felt like it. They could have been at dinner. But the way it was happening.
You guys were at a club or at a dinner.
Yeah, but it wasn't. It was just like that.
Is that Skype? Was that Skype?
Yeah, it was Skype. Yeah, it was as clear as this connection.
Wow.
I was naked. It was weird.
Stop it. So
but is it a wreck?
Malls and I, from Couple Things, actually we've become friends in quote unquote real life. And so for example, we were texting each other just a little while ago before we started podcasting today. So funny things where I've actually, and Neil as well, has acquired friends and people that we think of as real friends.
Right.
I like to think of friends as acquisitions.
Right.
Yes, I've acquired.
I like to uptrade.
Another one.
You know what? Hang on a minute. Hold on. Just stop for 1 second. I want to do a point of order. If you've been on Twitter, there are people who will accuse you of just that.
Absolutely.
True.
Right.
Absolutely.
Fucking man. I never thought the bullshit I would see until until you do some time on Twitter. It's fascinating how humans are to each other in anonymity.
That's a question I have for you guys. That's interesting. Do you guys get grief because of the subject of your podcast? Do people think? Because I never thought of this until you just said that. But like, are people like, "Oh, you're just doing that podcast"? I didn't even think of it, and because when I saw, and same with Annaleis, when we saw your podcast, thought it was freaking cool. Like the only thing I thought, like I said earlier, is that I thought maybe you were buddies with him, and I'm like, oh, that's really cool. I thought it was more cool when I realized that, oh, this is awesome. This is just somebody who is a fan, but in a really cool way, not in a I'm a fan because I want to make it mine. I'm a fan because this person really helped me, and I think what they're doing is awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I do. I really think I isolated the quote that like changed my life, and it really did. And every time I listen to it, I can break on it, man. It really gets me.
Right. Yeah.
So, and yeah, I really do believe it is a core philosophy that a rising tide lifts all boats.
It really does.
So if, we all put positive energy into the projects that we're passionate about, eventually the right people will get involved and things will happen. And I always say, especially to people, there are other types of success other than money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
if you're doing
the
it for
fucking
the
rewards
money,
I've been getting from this show are beyond any money I could pay. It's mind-boggling.
And if the focus is the money, you lose out on all the experiences because you're so zoned in on the money part.
And that's part of the reason. And the Kevin thing actually helps me keep the moral center of the show at the end of the day. Because I do have to ask myself in some corny way, what would Kevin do? Or would Kevin approve of this?
Right. Sure.
Is this in his core philosophies, or am I shitting on somebody unfairly? I do, and I don't want to do that. I believe in those positive philosophies.
And then if you forget, you have to go back and remember the number one thing is that you're a fan. Mm-hmm. Number one.
Yeah.
And if you forget,
where's that placard I had?
If
somewhere?
you forget that, then that's when everything's like
fucked up.
Yeah, fucked up.
Exactly.
Because you're a fan first.
Yeah, that's the goal.
I love being like a fangirl, fanboy. I love that. I'm all about.
And that right there is a huge
I
change.
totally love it. I love telling everyone that I love Flash. I love telling everyone that I love Kevin Smith. I just love telling everyone the things that I like. But why can't? It's just fun.
Yeah.
And I like boosting other people, and I like boosting. So.
Go on. Go ahead. Sorry, I shut her down. I gave her all the kill signs.
It's so cool to listen to. Like, I love listening to other people talk about the things that they love, like whatever it is.
Right.
And that's what's so cool about your show. And there's a few other shows that do it. Of course, can't think of them right now. But your show.
Aw, thanks.
But like to see.
Well, where's Larry? Where's Larry? If you're into IJ, I mean, can't get much better than them.
Yeah.
No. I just meant that, like, if when it's so intriguing, and the chemistry that comes across when you talk about something that you love is just infectious, and that's what draws people in to you.
Right.
Like when you talk about something that you really enjoy, people can't help but listen and enjoy it too. And I think that's really like,
for instance,
the key.
Blowjobs. Now let's open
exactly.
Right?
How much we love blowjobs.
Yes,
right.
indeed.
Yes.
Perfect.
Okay. What's the
giving, receiving, whatever.
Whatever.
Love it. Everybody should.
Yeah.
What time is it now?
Set the watch. I believe it's blowjob time.
It's
according to
blowjob time somewhere.
According to the boner clock over the well.
It always is.
Yeah.
Actually, the big penis is on the little penis.
Right.
And
that gigantic skinny penis is going around really fast.
It's boner o'clock.
That's perfect.
Or bone her o'clock.
I feel a new clock design.
Yeah, I know.
Oh my God, yes. I wonder if there is one.
The dark
and
angels.
Like the balls are in like the middle part.
It'll be the
Make
crossover.
sure you do a secure search on that.
I want to hear the alarm on that clock.
It'll be I see a crossover. We'll have to mix our logos somehow.
What's the alarm?
You're right.
Dark ThatMan.
Right.
That's hilarious.
Dark
that man and Pretty Freaks.
Yes, there you go.
Now what would the alarm sound?
Gene would be a pretty freak, I believe.
There you go.
That's a good title.
Oh my gosh.
Come over to the dark side.
She's a right guy.
I think I'm already there.
Or the dark slide, depending how you're.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The dark slut? Is that what you just said?
Slide,
No,
I think
dark
he said.
slide.
Oh,
Dark slide's
I thought
fine
he
too.
said slut. I was like,
Whoa,
whoa, back off.
you're getting a little too.
I was gonna say, back off.
You are forgetting yourself, sir.
I was going to say, back off
Sometimes
there,
you have to clarify his words.
Yeah.
Like, wait, what did you say?
No, dark slide.
That's why, I just didn't have to kick you in the
Now
balls.
I can call her dark slut. You have to say dark slide.
Okay, so now we totally have to make that clock.
Okay.
But what is the alarm? What's the alarm when it
Spank
goes
me?
off?
I know.
That's what I was
Yeah,
thinking.
boner o'clock.
Yeah.
That's the grossest sound ever.
What?
Right up there with
You
moist.
come up with something. Don't worry.
Yeah. Okay.
We considered it a personal win that recently John Oliver singled out moist.
As his least favorite word.
M word. All right, we want to take a moment to talk about Death Wish Coffee. That's right. Ladies and gentlemen, do yourself a favor and get over to deathwishcoffee.com. And there you can buy the strongest coffee known to man without a prescription.
The world's strongest coffee ever.
Yes, as proudly displayed on my wife's sweatshirt over there.
Yes, on my body,
Yes.
on my mug,
Yes,
on
it's
my
on my mug.
K-cups. Not
Yes, and you'll know them by their telling sign of the skull and crossbones.
It's
that tells
so
you
good.
exactly what you're in for. It's that used to be the international symbol for poison, but now it is the symbol for good damn coffee.
It's awesome. Without milk, with milk, you don't really need it because it's strong.
But
It's
not bitter?
Not bitter. So you don't even need milk. You don't even need sugar, but you can add it if you'd like. It's just really, really the perfect, strongest, most awesome coffee.
Become a junkie of Death Wish, just like the Anderson Council. And
we got him hooked.
again, deathwishcoffee.com. Thank you very much.
Enjoy it.
I want to take this time to mention to you www.audibletrial.com/ThatMan on Fatman. That's right, www.audibletrial.com/ThatMan on Fatman. That's one word, conjunctified. Go there, sign up for your free 30-day free trial. Sign up, get a free book, a free audiobook, because you don't have to go through no tedious reading. You don't have to turn no fucking pages. You don't have to do any of that bullshit. You get in your car, you put on your headphones, and you are listening to a book. You're taking a magical journey into a fictitious land. You're expanding your mind, all when you're stuck in traffic. Fucking amazing. Audiobooks. These are the wave of the future. And you can get in for free for 30 days. A free trial. And when you get your free trial, you can download a copy of Tough Shit by our Savior, Kevin Smith. That's right. Our Lord and Savior, Kevin Smith, has left words for us to follow in our lives, and we can get it for free just by signing up to audibletrial.com/ThatMan on Fatman. That's right. audibletrial.com/ThatMan on Fatman. Thank you. Please sign up. You'll be very happy you did. John Oliver singled out moist.
As his least favorite word.
M word. It was the most.
It's so funny. Annaleis hates the word moist, and whenever I think
I
of the
don't
word
mind it.
moist, the sad thing is the first thing I think of is brownies.
I think of
Well, I
like
think
a
of cake.
moist like cake. I do too. That's why it doesn't bother
See,
me.
cake is the only thing that is allowed to be moist.
Yeah.
Or I guess brownie. Any
so-
baked goods. But
No, but
as soon as the sponge becomes moist, it's gross.
Yeah. It's fun. I didn't realize so many people the aversion of that word, because I've used it at work before. Like,
doesn't bother me.
this is a little moist, and dudes are looking at me like, "You've got to go," and I'm like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like,
dudes don't use that word.
Sometimes you say it on purpose, right?
It's not dry.
It's a
not
girl-
wet. It's
moist is a girl word.
Ew.
Well,
It's like-
isn't moist wet?
Yeah, but it's not dripping.
No, moist is like the opposite of dry.
How can you talk about these things and not think about a vajayjay?
Moist is the opposite of dry.
Still on the brownie.
And how do you know I'm not thinking about it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Moist is the opposite of dry. Moist doesn't bother me, the word moist. I could
Okay.
say it moist.
That's there's the alarm.
But go to
Oh my God, yes!
Good
Moist.
It just gets louder as you know. You
Oh
hit
my God, that's
moist,
brilliant.
moist.
Right, if you don't turn off the alarm, then it's going to keep growing.
So speaking of like things coming out of things that you didn't expect, and that sounds, and we will insert the urine joke there. Hang on, pause.
Is that a double entendre?
No, it's triple. Something about Vegas, I believe. You guys were tweeting about
2017, the Vegas meetup.
Is that when? Oh, okay.
There's a 2016.
Why did I think you guys were part of the other Vegas meetup?
This year's there's a meetup this year
In August, but we'll be in Jamaica at the Jamaican meetup.
Yeah, at the Jamaican meetup.
So
At the
I thought you guys were gonna be there.
At the Jamaican
No, we're gonna
what?
go to the February 2017 meetup.
Okay, wait. What's this Jamaican thing?
Yeah.
So
Jamaican
so
me crazy over here. Waka waka.
Yeah, every year we go to Jamaica, and because of all the friends we met, we had a meetup in Portland last September, which was really cool because there were a bunch of podcasters that met up at Rose City Comic Con.
Right.
So it was my first Comic Con, as well as we met a bunch of podcasters from all across the U.S. and Canada, and we decided to do we just opened. I mean, we go to Jamaica every year, so we opened it up and said, "Hey, we're going to be here." And so there are some podcasters that are going to meet up in Jamaica
this year
in 2016 and in 2017 because we've already booked 2017. And so that's the Jamaica thing, but we're also doing the Vegas in February 2017.
Cool. Okay, I thought you guys were the Big Daddy Jimmy with the Why Not Con thing.
Right, the one that's happening in August.
The end of August, yeah.
Right, yeah, and we were invited to go to that, and we would love to go to that, but it's literally the exact week that we leave for Jamaica.
Oh, yeah. So you guys probably don't have kids, right?
No.
Right.
Yeah, that's right.
No, we're
you
crazy.
could tell. You could detach and travel.
Right. Well, you know, it's so funny because
we take very good care of our pets, and it's a huge concern for us. So whenever we go to town, it's a huge expense for us to board
It is.
and have a babysitter or something, and it's a huge worry on our mind. So I mean, we try to find places that will let us have video cameras on the dogs.
We're ridiculous.
And,
we're absolutely
we're
ridiculous.
a little out of control.
Yeah, but
They're in the long run. People have seen rescued dogs that do fine. I mean, Michael Vick's fighting dogs got rescued and they're beautiful. So our dogs would be fine for 2.5 weeks hanging out.
But they would miss
But
me.
we would lose our freaking heads. But no,
Right.
we're those annoying.
You think your dogs are your kids thing?
Crazy. Yeah, but not only that, but it's
because you don't have kids.
so immature. Since we don't have kids, we get to be as immature as we want. So henceforth, saying all the time, or so, or
I
things
still
like
do.
That's true.
Neg vibe my trip. I don't have to speak correctly because I don't have to be a.
You don't have to be a good role model.
Yeah, I'm the dogs aren't going to learn
Yeah, but
this.
once
One of
they
the
get to
things
be
we've
high school
learned,
kids, you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, actually, we found that the role model thing needed to go out the window. We just needed.
Well,
we took
it's
the
not
Kevin
like
Smith
we're-
approach to our kids, really.
Right.
The
neat thing is kids absolutely love us because we talk to them like people. So neighbors that have kids or family that have kids, they always want to hang out with us because we're just
Right.
hey, what's going
I'm
on?
why are you
Hey,
here?
so do we.
What are you doing?
See, but you know what? I don't think that people that treat their animals like that are weird.
No, I get why people.
I totally respect it.
Yeah,
I'm
because
not.
you know what?
Who said it was weird? You're putting.
No,
You're putting
he-
words in my mouth.
No, I'm not talking to you. I'm saying it in general because
You're
he
making
made,
me sound judgy.
He made it sound. He said, "Yeah, we're that crazy
said weird.
couple."
Yeah.
So you made reference to that, and I absolutely think the opposite. I commend you because there's enough people out there that treat animals like shit.
There is one line at which I have a problem when people cross.
When they do what? When they dress them up?
No,
really
sympathy
cute.
animals.
What's
Shit.
that?
Yeah, or whatever it is, the work animal.
Okay, you have
and it's
to-
because they like their little handbag dog. They don't want
No.
to part with it on a plane.
No.
Okay,
I
so you mean
gotcha.
the fake service dog? So
Yeah,
they
but- yeah.
See, but you
I
know
need
what?
my dog because it makes me feel better.
Yeah, exactly.
See, but
Yeah,
you know
Right.
what?
I gotcha.
I think
Yeah.
there's people that are depressed and then have mental
I get
disabilities
it.
that need
I
them.
get it, but you know
It's
what?
the people that lie about it that make it bad for those people.
Right.
There's
we
always
thought we
a
saw
jerk.
one of those last
There's always
night.
a
We may or may
shithead.
not have saw that yesterday.
Yeah, and there's always a shithead that makes it bad for other people.
Yeah.
That, those are the people that need
Exactly.
Absolutely.
And
Exactly.
And
just like anything else, they probably should have a little paperwork, with them. if
I
they-
agree. And it
you
sucks
know, I
because
mean-
you can't ask
Right.
if there is, and you can't ask why, and you can't ask for any documentation. My whole thought, and again,
Right.
I classify.
Although that's
myself,
not exactly true, because if you're on Twitter and no one knows who you are, you can do anything you want.
that is, you are absolutely correct.
good
You
point.
can
That's
say
like a bunch of
anything, you
people
can do
for it, yeah.
anything, you are immune from repercussion.
Yeah.
For sure.
You just have to be prepared for the consequences of that.
You gotta be
Right.
ready to change your Twitter handle at the moment's notice. But
Yeah, and stop and
Isn't
start.
it weird when you change your name? Not even your handle, but just the name, it throws people.
Oh, big time.
right, and we talked about this a little bit earlier, but I had a Twitter as well, like Neil did, but I didn't use mine until we started this podcast, and so it took me a while to okay, so let me see. I can tweet. Oh, I can retweet. Okay, that's cool. Oh, I can search.
Well, more than
oh,
that,
that's cool.
more than that, when we started, she's like, "I'm not doing the Twitter thing. I don't even understand it." And
Sounds
now
like me
she's
too.
like, "This Twitter thing is great."
Oh, Jean's a convert too.
Yeah,
I'm
I
like,
was.
please hold. I got a tweet.
I'm
Yeah.
hoping she figures out Snapchat for us.
Right.
Yeah, I'm behind on the Snapchat.
You know what? I drew the line there, to be completely honest. Like, I looked at it once and I was like, I can't.
See, it's good that
No.
you guys don't really give a shit then about your listeners, or about your, or
Right.
not, like that you're not pursuing it. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
I kind of use
because
it to.
now you really do, you really
Yeah.
do, and
Yeah.
and again, to me, I understand. And if I was looking for anonymous hookups, I understand it. You know what I mean?
I just use it to see what my daughter's doing.
Right.
Yeah,
That's all she's
exactly.
on,
And that's
is
the
Snapchat.
exactly, and that's there you go. Boom. The
But-
youth
right.
has
And-
decided fuck Facebook, fuck Twitter, we're going with this one.
And it's the only thing I can do. Like, I don't want to be. And
And we're
you
doing
know
it because it's confusing as fuck.
It sounds fun. Like, I want to engage with her on there, but I also want to be like, what's going on? If I engage too much, then
I gauge all of that stuff by whatever my younger sister sends to me, and it's
Okay.
always like abbreviations. And she's like, "You need to do the Snapchat with me." I'm like, actually, I don't. 'cause
Okay, here's the
I have a job and I can't respond to your Snapchat in the middle of the day, so I can't really participate. And then she's like, "Okay, so play this game with me." I'm like, also can't do that.
I got on Snapchat.
Oh yeah.
for the-
Sometimes I have to look up her abbreviations. What does
Yeah.
that tell
Well,
you?
you,
I got on
you
Snapchat.
really should register your show name. You really should. You should.
Well,
I mean, everybody will tell you that. Brand
I got
your
on
fucking
Snapchat
show.
for the podcast, and people started going, "Why are you just posting pictures of your dog?" Because I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, it's the same thing, but yeah,
Yeah.
it's sort of Instagram. I eventually figured out because you can edit the fuck out of the shit up front. But there you go. That's the big fundamental difference. Snapchat it's all about spontaneity.
Right.
Right.
So you can't even upload a picture that you've already taken.
Right.
You've got to take it with the wacky app.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny because we were at that baseball game last night, and I actually thought, I'm like, oh, we could actually Snapchat the fact that we're here with these people that we just met,
and
it
I'm
would
like,
be
what are
really,
you talking about?
would be really cool. And then I'm like, or I could just sit here and watch the game
Or
because I'm old and tired.
Or I could
so-
take a picture of it, edit it,
right.
run it through a full editing suite, and then put it on Instagram.
Yeah, and then
Put
the
it
game-
on
That's the way I roll.
Put it on Facebook for all our over 50 friends.
and then
Well,
the
I
game
mell
will be over because it takes forever to do all
Well,
that.
first of all, here's what I will say though about that over 50 thing. That's not true.
No,
Facebook, Facebook's like the fucking sort of anchor. Even the most annoying and snarkiest of fucking Snapchatter has a secret Facebook account
They have a
somewhere. You
Facebook
just have
account,
to.
but they don't.
Facebook are still on it.
Yeah, because all the
So-
people that say Facebook know exactly what's going on Facebook.
Yeah,
So I'm
exactly.
like,
Yeah.
wait a minute. Yeah.
They can eat a dick.
Exactly.
Those snarky little, our audience, we love you.
Snake vibe trippers.
Right, there you go.
Trigger word, trigger
Those
word.
abbreviations to me right now.
Right.
That's my trigger word.
No, no.
Oh, God.
Your trigger word is my safe word. We're in trouble.
Oh, no. That would be a dilemma, wouldn't it?
Wouldn't that be something?
I think we have a new short film.
Yes.
Speaking of films, how's the film coming? Are we allowed to ask?
Oh,
Or are we
yeah,
not?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's kind of a bummer because, I was hoping you were telling us that you were at the Vegas thing because we're going to be there.
Oh, that's so cool.
And while since this is going to go in 2 weeks, I may be able to say it by then. But yeah, we're bringing our DP, and I feel awkward being somewhere and not working, so we're going to be shooting.
That's awesome.
You got to multitask. That's just how it is these days.
Well, you're going to have so many freaking cool people there to talk to. That's awesome.
Yeah, and then we're using that as our jumping off point to go to Los Angeles, where we're shooting Kelly Carlin, Ralph Garman, Marilyn Gigliotti, if she's in town. We still have to confirm that one.
Yeah.
Right.
Who else? A few others who I can't remember because we're on the podcast.
That's awesome.
Gene just whispered something I did not hear.
And in San Francisco, Susie.
San Francisco, Susie. But I don't know that we're going to make it up to
And
San
another
Francisco.
gentleman that we have to.
And there's a couple other guys up there.
Mr. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a few.
Yeah.
Hey, how much does it cost to get from Los Angeles to San Francisco?
On an airplane or a car?
A plane.
Yeah, what is it? It's like an 8-hour drive by car.
You can.
It's usually under $200.
Yeah,
depending.
Sometimes the commuter flights you can find even less.
Right, and then there's a new there's the Oakland Airport, San Francisco Airport, and they opened the Santa Rosa Airport for business travelers as well to go back and forth.
Yeah,
and that I've done in the past for like $75.
Oh wow!
But obviously it all changes and all of that. So
yeah.
Yeah,
and you're coming in an area
an hour away from San Francisco, so you still have to get from that cheap airport to the city.
Yeah, but at that point, you rent a car. It's not a big deal.
It could be an East Coast story.
Now, how long is the drive?
From Santa Rosa to San Francisco is about an hour without traffic.
Right.
Obviously, if you land in San Francisco.
Oh,
well,
what is it from Los Angeles to San Francisco?
Yeah, driving.
You can do it in 6-7 hours.
Yeah, about.
Yeah. That's what I thought. Because that was like for us driving from New Jersey to where we lived in Southern Virginia, which is almost North Carolina, essentially.
Well, it's like 350, 380 miles, whatever it is.
Fucking California's big.
Yeah. It's the drive. It's almost worth it. Depending on what rental car you get and what time you go.
Right.
Because by the time you go to the airport, you go through check-in, you land.
You gotta be there an hour early. The flight takes an hour plus.
If you have to get your bags,
and then we have to get all the way back to Vegas.
Yeah.
Right.
And then
where our flight out will be.
Yeah. Then get your car and go where sure, you might save a couple of hours, but it's almost like
right. And if you drive, at least you're on your own time.
Yeah,
that's true.
Whatever's more
but
important.
I don't know if we have the time.
Well,
but I guess at that point we have Damien in tow.
I'm not gonna.
I don't know whose transportation we'll have at that point.
I'm not gonna close the door on that because if we're there, and if the time that we're there is long enough,
if we can organize the window just so,
I would totally do the drive because it's probably amazing to look at all the scenery and everything. I would totally do it because I've never been to California.
We also have to make sure Damien would want to be on board.
Part of it, the drive. To be honest, part of it, the drive is very cool. Part of it, it's just a straight freaking line through
of desert. Yeah,
yeah. You're like, oh dear lord. The nice thing is the speed limit's 75 miles an hour.
75.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe we're going to be driving back with Big Daddy Jimmy V. So
nice.
From Vegas to Los Angeles.
It's not a very long drive.
You said 3 to 4 hours.
Yeah, depends.
Yeah.
So
just about right.
When you guys will be in the San Francisco area, that's when we'll be in Jamaica. Is that?
That sounds like it.
Yeah.
If it's that,
of course,
goats,
right?
If it's that first week of. It's sort of like the first week of September, the last week of August.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. But if you're
those
here,
exact 2 weeks.
if you're here after the 2nd of September or in this area, definitely let us know because we will be back in town.
Yeah, but I think we're going to.
There is a chance that one of our DPs, who we've been saying when we shoot Kevin, may be in Europe when we shoot Kevin.
Oh,
yeah, it sucks. So, but there's nothing we could do there.
Right.
That's one of those. He calls the shots in that part.
Mm-hmm.
Right, of course.
Yeah.
You've had some dealings with him. Am I mistaken there?
Sort of, kind of.
Back at the ranch?
On the outskirts. I have seen him and met him, and he did get married there.
Yes.
But I was not invited to that, of course.
And you had a little Twitter.
We've had a couple Twitter exchanges. But I'm sure he would not remember that, of course. But
yes.
And he used to do all of the sound for his movies at Skywalker. Well, that changed after the first, I think, 3. After Dogma, I think that was the last one, possibly.
Yeah, because that's the last time he had studio money, probably.
Right. Well, as there's something that happens that, once you get married and have kids, you no longer want to, like, move your family to a different city for, like, 3 weeks to do post on your film.
Yeah. He didn't do Jersey Girl there?
I don't think that he did do Jersey Girl there. I don't think so. I think that... So the main guy that he used to use for the sound for his films is a guy named Gary Rizzo, who is still based at Skywalker, and
who has the best freaking shoes ever.
When I hear Rizzo, I just think of Frank Rizzo.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
And he's a very cool guy. We actually started, I think, about the same time at Skywalker, and he's now a mixer and shares the Academy Award for Dark Knight for sound.
Awesome.
With the first woman who ever won, Laura Hirschberg.
Awesome.
So anyway, so he
Team
used to
woman.
do this.
Yay.
Yeah. Woo! The first woman ever. That's amazing. So I held up my hands just so you know.
Yeah.
Cool.
So
can I ask something before you get too far?
Yeah.
What's it been like since Lucas was acquired and you guys are sort of an adjunct of that acquisition? So how's that all work?
So the super interesting thing about that is our division in particular hasn't changed hardly at all. So obviously a couple of divisions were closed and scuttled to make room for new divisions like like animation and the video game division were kind of combined and expanded and things like that. But our division is basically untouched at this point, and we are very thankful and very appreciative that they have left us alone so far. And they have been out there and they've toured around. And Lucas is a very, very smart man. So, and this is totally public knowledge, so I'm not going to tell you anything that nobody else knows.
Oh, good.
But
good.
So he still owns all of the property, all of the art. So he still owns the ranch.
So he's charging him rent.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
See how you went there immediately?
Yeah.
Brilliant. And here's the other thing. We had to sign...
and he got $1 billion, whatever the fuck.
Right. So he got $4 billion.
Yes. There's
And
this
also-
sack full of money you can't contemplate in a lifetime.
Right.
Yeah.
So he still owns Skywalker Ranch. He owns the ranch next door. And he still owns... Actually, he doesn't own the land that ILM is on anymore.
Right.
So he owns like half of this valley, and it's actually on Lucas Valley Road, Lucas Valley, which was Lucas Valley before he
I
bought
know
it,
that.
which is
I am.
why he bought it.
Right.
I'm a nerd. I knew that.
Yeah.
Of course. And you know what's really funny? The super side note, and we'll circle around, just take a second. The Big Bang Theory version of them going to Skywalker Ranch is fairly accurate.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, they must have let them come out here because that is surprisingly accurate.
Another side note, that I grew up in the valley, well, we called it the valley, but in that Lucas Valley area. So before Annaleis and I met, obviously when I was a little kid, huge Star Wars fan, we used to try and sneak on as kids to Skywalker Ranch when he first bought it. And back then in the late 70s, early 80s, they were pretty cool about a bunch of kids, because we actually thought like you could go see the X-Wing fighter. We didn't realize.
You're like 10 and you're on your
Where are they
BMX.
parked? Where are they parked?
Sky's the limit.
They were always super cool, and they'd be like, "Oh no, you guys can't come back here." We're like, "We want to see the X-Wing fighter," and they're like, "All the X-Wing fighters are getting worked on right now. You're not gonna be able to see. They're all in the garages." And we're like,
Dude, the
"All
Endor
right."
forest speeders should be right there in the parking lot.
Yeah, exactly.
Come on, man.
Exactly. But I think the cool thing that Disney did with from an outsider with an insider was that, it's like they bought it and they're like, "Okay, we own you. Keep doing what you're doing. We're going to be over here if you need anything." Kind of like the Marvel thing.
That is a smart business. That is a smart business.
So,
but the problem with that is, and at least someone who's had a corporate career,
right,
that tends to not last. Eventually, they hire a prick.
Yeah. Well, eventually they're gonna sit there and go, "Oh, you've been spending $10 million a year on X, and we've been making $3 billion."
Oh, wait a minute. We're paying Lucas rent?
Right.
What?
Or we think you could do this with maybe $4 million less, and then that's when it starts and it falls apart.
Yeah, which sucks because did you see the documentary about Atari?
Mm-mm.
Oh,
I've only seen parts of it.
if you ever get a chance, see that because it was the one where they dig up the eventually-
E.T. game?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah, yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
So-
yeah.
and it's brilliant. But they get the one guy who designed the ET game and also designed. People forget he also designed Yar's Revenge, one of the best fucking games on
yeah.
that system.
Yeah, and that's the thing that they remember.
Well,
The ET
yeah,
game?
well, so it goes through the whole story, but you see, like this Atari was this amazing company, a really cool place to work, and like people fucking smoking bones in the office, and
Right.
it's literally. I'm not even
Yeah, they
kidding. They
were.
talk about it. They talk about like the first time, and these guys were inventing the game designer job. It didn't exist
Right.
until this.
And the guy, like one of the guys, like walked in, and the guy like offered him a joint. He was like, "Oh, it's okay, I got my own." Like,
And
everybody brought their own.
Well, and he even says this guy who eventually
I
went
was
on
like,
to
damn,
become a
you weren't there.
counselor. He's like, it sucks because it really was my first job, and it set the bar
Yes.
so high
Every other place
that I
fucking
could
sucks.
never nothing. Yeah, nothing ever could compare to that
Yeah.
job.
Could you imagine like quitting that job and then going to a new job saying, "Well, I need all of this
Ugh.
plus this,
And I get the impression
and I
that
can
that's
smoke
what
weed as much as I want."
Lucas Art, any Lucas organization is sort of like, as well as I would say, what was it? The people that did Monster, Pixar is probably
Pixar's
like
supposed
that
to be
too.
like that too.
But as soon as that environment gets too corporate, it fucking dies.
Yeah, it was the time though then too.
Yeah.
Well, I did some work for Pixar as well, and
So you guys smoking bones in the ranch? No, I'm kidding.
no.
I'm kidding.
And if I did, I wouldn't tell you. So there's that.
There's
But,
a room.
Right. So it is a very large ranch. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, for the most part, they've left us alone. Like they kind of looked at what we do and our business model, and they were like, "Okay, cool. We'll be back." And obviously, it's gotten a little more corporate. Like there's more papers to sign. Our healthcare has changed. There's more what we call oh gosh, what is it? There's online training that we have to do, and we have like. I think before, I'm not sure I've ever even done that. And then all of a sudden, Disney owns us, and we have to do like 2 or 3 compliance training.
All
That's
the
what it's
insurance
called.
requirements to.
In quotes, compliance training.
Yeah.
Hey,
So,
aren't you,
you know,
an
you have-
Imagineer?
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you an Imagineer level 3?
You know what's
aren't you a
funny
replicant?
is like, so, obviously there's internal, and our internal network is actually called Skynet. So if that's not nerdy
Yeah,
for
is
you.
that awesome?
That is good. Yeah, that's the first thing that's how you can tell when an organization has gotten. Usually, when you can tell when they've gotten too big, they start expunging fun names.
Yeah.
No, we actually always have had fun names. Like it's always been Skynet, and all of our like internal servers have nerd names.
Yeah.
like
I'm sorry.
Hal.
yeah. No, I mean it's just it's really obscure, and I was like, is that the character from Lord of the? And like, yeah.
I'm sorry, you have to change Skynet's name to Sleepy.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Yeah, and again, luckily we've been left alone enough to keep things like that. But also, I mean, we have compliance training, and like when I have to do things like look at my healthcare benefits or things like that, you go into your internal network systems, or you call somebody, and then they say, "Hi, are you? I can't remember how they call it, a player or a like they don't call you employees, they call you
A fun tier?
Yeah. Right.
it's something like that. And I'm trying to, I'm going to totally forget. It's not an entertainer. It's
Imagineer? Oh, cast member.
cast
Are you a
member.
cast member?
Oh my God. How do you know that?
Yeah.
Because I know.
Are you on Skynet? Exactly. And
You're
so
a Disney
I'm looking,
droid.
there's like, I have the, computer thing pulled up, and I'm like looking at it going, am I a cast member? I don't like play a princess. I mean, that's not
yes,
my
you do.
That's
And
happened.
very well, might I add.
That's happened. But so I'm looking at it going, I don't know what to call myself. And like if you don't like use your login for a certain amount of, like if you don't use your login for like 2 weeks, then it like extrudes you from the system, and you have to like change your passwords, and so you have to like call the system, and you're like, hi, I'm whatever, and I'm like, I don't know what to call myself, cast member. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Or Imagineer.
I will say this: the interesting. So many people seem to have like really hated the fact that Disney, bought the Lucas franchise. But from what we've seen from the outside is that they're a really cool, solid company that really wants to do the right thing as of now.
Right.
You know, we haven't seen it, but
And for the most part, they've left Lucasfilm alone, obviously besides Star Wars, because that's what they wanted it for.
Yeah.
And then, but they also leave
they-
Marvel alone for the most part.
well, like they did with ESPN for years when they shouldn't have.
Where can we find your wonderful podcast, folks?
You can find our podcast any podcast player. I think we're on most of them at Dark Angels and Pretty Freaks, or you can go to our website, which is darkangelsandprettyfreaks.com.
We're pretty much everywhere. So
Yeah, you can find us everywhere. We're even on Snapchat, even though we don't Snapchat.
And your personal Twitter handles?
Let's see. I am at AngelsFreak7, and you?
Surprisingly enough, Wiretech Girl.
And we also do have an at DAPF podcast, which I've been trying to kill forever, but people won't let me kill it. So apparently we still have at DAPF podcast.
So you do have a podcast title.
We do. And it's hilarious because I feel bad because all it really is like retweets of other podcasts and our podcast, you know, but I try to get rid of it and everyone's like kept responding to it. And I'm like, okay, fine.
And there you have part one of a two-part interview with Annaleis and Neil from Dark Angels and Pretty Freaks. And you can hear the second part of that interview right now if you go over to episode 3-16. Yes. And you'll hear the second part. But actually what you should do is listen to the rest of this episode before you go jumping.
Yeah.
Because next is one of our favorites. And I'm sure she's cooked up something special as well because she knows she has this opportunity to double down on her pick.
Double down and tell him Steve Dave.
That's right. And so I hand you over to Miss Testy Groupie's Pick of the Week. ThatMan on Fatman presents At Testy Groupies. Tell 'em Steve Dave. Pick of the Week.
Hi, and welcome to the TSD Pick of the Week. Some of the most famous and remembered Tell 'em Steve Dave episodes are the vent ones, and no wonder why. First, they are long, and who wouldn't want all TSD episodes to be like that? Also, everybody brings their A game, and to top all of this, Walt always has the best ideas, for murder mysteries, Christmas specials, overkill topics, or game shows. And his love for the latter brings us to a very special episode, quite recent, but a must when re-listening. Get ready, because this week's pick is TSD 264, the Blue Juice Comics 1-3 Invitational, Part 1. It is a bit hard to talk about this episode without running into spoilers, but I will try. The main thing to know that can be told from the title is that this is an all 1-3 episode, and who doesn't love 1-3? Add to that the excitement of a competition and the search of a winner. Many TSD recurring characters come back to tell their stories and go for the win. And to add fun, Walt has added 2 lifelines. This episode introduces all the players and the preliminary round is played. You can hear Ming go against Chris Lodondo, Maxwell and Gideon, Q and Sandy Jeff, Brian Mike, and Frank number 5 playing against Walt, who fills in for Frank number 3. A last-time surprise that just adds awesomeness. Cause as much as game host Walt is loved, who doesn't want to hear some Walt stories? Lots of surprises and fun that doesn't get old. So, I hope you re-listen to it, I hope you enjoy it, and y'all all the way.
And as promised, there is the first of a what I would assume is a special twofer show. I haven't heard it yet because that's the way we roll on these. But as we discussed last week,
right.
But there you have Miss Testy Groupie's pick of the show.
Pick of the show.
Yes, just because we're just changing things up.
The week's not over yet.
But with that, God, it feels like we've powered through this, but you know what? Oh my God, if you feel like you've been gypped, there's a whole other episode you can go over and listen to. That's right. Because right now, as you roll this over, don't worry. 3-16 is the next episode. It drops. It's there now. Hey,
it's already there.
I don't even have to tell you that it drops. It dropped. So now you can listen to that too. You know why? Because you're fucking smart and good.
Smart and good.
See you on the next show.
Bye.
Smiling, praying for some faith. Thoughts are drifting through my mind and filling it with fear. Is there something else out there, and just why are we here? Then I see the world will turn, and we must be its guide. Crazy dreams and nonsense schemes, gone comes we must reply. Powers from our mother earth, they'll blow us to our knees. While our souls do bind as one, come join us if you please, if you please. Greeting moments one by one and smirking like a thief. Sleeping through another night and deepening our peace. Genesis and matter's wake is coming from our sun. Living in this very moment, for this moment's done. But now I see the dawn will come, and we are all its guide. Crazy dreams and nonsense schemes, the Godhead in the skies. Powers from our mother earth is all we'll ever be. While our souls do bind as one, come join us if you please, if you please. As we worship at our shrine, bursting flowers into bloom, there's no such thing as time. Powers from our mother earth will blow us to our knees. Twisting, turning minds are burning, join us if you please. And now I see that I am just beginning its demise. Flashing bits of comic light that vanish from the skies. Powers from our mother earth is all we'll ever be. All our souls do bind as one, come join us if you please, if you please. If you please. If you please.
There he is. It's that man standing over Blood Alley Square, protecting us all. Go get him, that man.
Hey, everybody. I hate to interrupt, but I want to take a moment to talk to you about Patreon. What is Patreon? Patreon is a startup type service. This one caters to ongoing projects. It is for the video bloggers, the podcasters, the bloggers who regularly provide content to an audience out there. And if the audience chooses to, they can support their the shows they listen to that are members of Patreon. That Man on Fatman is on Patreon. And if you would like to help us to offset the costs that we incur on this show, it also helps expand our abilities. For instance, SoundCloud, as a result of folks helping us out on Patreon. You are helping to grow the show, and for that, we try and provide our Patreon listeners with special bonuses, special shows in advance that they can hear prior, just special videos, things like that. We try. It's more ad hoc. It's more seat of the pants, but I think the listeners out there are happy with them. No one's complained yet. We're not talking a lot of money here. We're talking like $2 a month, $4 a month. And where can you find us? Very simple. Go to patreon.com. That's patreon.com/ThatManOnFatman. Or you can go to ThatManOnFatman.com and click on the link on the right side of the screen that says Become a Patron on Patreon.